The tragedy at Lampedusa left over 300 people dead. And with more lives having been lost at sea since then, the whole world is starting to ask questions. But sadly, the Lampedusa disaster is nothing new, as almost 20,000 immigrants have drowned crossing the Mediterranean in the last 20 years, a fact that MEP Nicolò Rinaldi is well aware of.
It is impressive the magnitude of this tragedy, so many casualties, but actually for many, many years we had casualties in the Mediterranean, and this was an event that we really could expect. And there will be many, many more of those kind of events if we don't take action.
But why is it that so many immigrants want to come to Europe through Italy?
It's a matter of geography. Lampedusa is closer to Africa coast than to Sicily, and it is EU soils.
Italy have called on the European Union for more financial help. Why is that?
They need psychological treatment, they need telephone to make a call back home, they need clothes, they need everything. So it is not really the normal reception of migrants elsewhere. They come after days of despair in the sea. Sometimes they arrive almost half dead, unfortunately.
Italian calls for more money may be warranted, but just how effective will extra funding be? I asked MEP Franziska Keller to find out.
Well, Italy has already received quite a lot of money from the European Union to help. The problem is, of course, in Italy we see that people are not receiving proper shelter. They're ending up on the streets, they're ending up in overfilled shelters. So even the money that is being sent from the European Union doesn't seem to arrive.
So where does the money go?
It's not clear to us where the money is going to. Italy claims it's getting too little money, and sure, more money is always helpful, but also little money can be put to effective use if it's being put into the right places. For instance, in Lampedusa, making sure, for instance, that the center there would be expanded and be able to host more migrants.
Keller is not alone in her skepticism. Amnesty International spoke to me about how the EU has to change its immigration policy instead of relying solely on its border surveillance agency, Frontex.
It's very important that the EU really changes tack at this moment. So people will always keep fleeing war and horrible situations. If we just focus on keeping them out, on border control, but we don't invest in search and rescue, we don't invest in resettlement, we don't invest in helping people, we're not actually making the situation worse. That is the problem.
So the decrease in funding for Frontex won't help at all?
What we really need is for the Council to immediately adopt a new regulation on Frontex. It will help us to actually close some gaps here and to focus ourselves a bit more on search and rescue, rather than just focusing on border control and on keeping people out. That is our key call. We have the Council meeting soon. If this is on the agenda, we really want to see a fundamental change to policy. Otherwise, these are crocodile tears.
But MEP Keller is not too confident that any meaningful change will happen soon.
I think now is the time to really look into things and change things effectively. Unfortunately, the Council has said that they won't change anything. Ministers like the German Home Affairs Minister have said everything's well, we don't need to change anything. But also those countries like Italy who wanted to change something only go for more border security, more surveillance, etc. Nothing that would actually help the people themselves.
Amnesty International's call to action will hopefully have an effect as the European Council plans to meet in the near future. But with the European reliance on Frontex, the worry isn't so much that they'll have a blind eye to the situation, but they'll be left in the dark altogether. This is Björk Smith-Meyer for JN1 at the European Parliament in Strasbourg.